In this video I'm going to show you how to de-yellow Star Wars figures. A lot of people have done videos showing how to do this, but their ways always seem pretty expensive, and you can actually do it for next to nothing. So this way I'm going to show you today is the cheap way of doing this. In front of me I have 5 Star Wars figures, all in various states of yellow and sort of aging. Probably the worst guy is this AT-AT pilot, AT-AT driver. As you can see, he is pretty yellowed on his chest there. The rest of him is actually alright if you look at the back of him, but the front is gone a very sort of nicotine yellow. So he will probably give the best result on this yellowing. One thing to note when doing the yellowing, it does affect the paint, so you'll see the little emblems that are on the top of this guy's head will disappear pretty much completely, but the rest of the figure should come out quite nice. And also the death score come on here. You can see his chest is very yellowed. This plastic doesn't actually de-yellow particularly well. It tends to only work on the white stuff, but I'll show you the results that you can get with this. The other figures all have sort of minor yellowing on them, so these will all work out pretty nicely. Right, let me show you what you'll need for doing this on the cheap. Okay, the 3 things that you'll need for doing this are a jam jar. This is an old coffee jar. You can use any sort of jar. It's best to have one with a lid just to stop the hydrogen peroxide evaporating, and it needs to be a clear one, obviously. And hydrogen peroxide, you can spend quite a lot of money getting hydrogen peroxide at various solution percentages. Most of the videos I've seen online sort of suggest getting quite high percentage solutions. I've actually found that this 6% stuff works very nicely. It's quite a fairly slow process, so gives you enough time to sort of check the figures, and is also very cheap. A bottle of 6% solution like this costs £1, whereas the 20 or sort of 40% stuff will set you back to 20 or 30 pounds. So for doing this the cheapest way, this 6% stuff is ideal, and you can pick this up at any pharmacy. It's used for sterilizing wounds, as you can see here, or mouthwash. So what you need to do is get your jam jar and stick all of your action figures that you want to de-yellow into it. So I'm going to drop in all of the ones I have here. They'll all fit in here, it doesn't matter. They can all sort of go in pretty much higgledy-piggledy and quite tight like that. And then you need to fill this up with hydrogen peroxide. So let's open this bottle here and we'll pour it in. Okay, that's quite satisfying. As you can see, one bottle doesn't actually fill my jam jar fully, so I do have a second bottle of hydrogen peroxide here just to top it up. So here we go. And you need just enough to cover all of the figures. Right, now that we've done that, the next stage is very simple. You need some bright sunshine, and I will leave these figures in the sunshine for 5 to 7 days. It's a slow process, this 6% solution, but it gives you enough time that you can check them every day and see how well they are sort of bleaching, and you know, if they look like they're done, take them out. But a figure like that AT-AT driver here, which you can see is very yellow, that will take a long time, and it does need some bright sunshine. So I will stick this in the sun and be back in 5 to 7 days. Once you place the figures in the sun, you'll notice that the hydrogen peroxide starts bubbling. This is quite normal, and it's a good sign. It shows that it's working properly. Once the figures are sort of back to the whiteness that you're hoping for, it's best to give them a really good wash and wash off all the hydrogen peroxide that's left on them. If you don't do this, you'll end up with some sort of white residue left on the figures. So make sure you wash them thoroughly, and they'll do nicely once you dry them all off. Right, so here we have the final figures. They actually were only in the sun for a day and a half in the end, because we had a really nice sunny day here in the UK. If you've got fairly dull sunshine, then obviously the 5 to 7 days still counts, but if you've got lovely bright sunshine, then you can get some pretty good results. Here we have the death score come on. As you can see, this has come out really nicely this time. I've found occasionally this figure doesn't de-yellow particularly well. The plastic that's used for the chest varies a lot between figures, but on this figure he's come out really nicely. Likewise, the AT-AT driver here, this was the really nicotine stained looking one at the start. You can see that he's gone pretty good colour. As I mentioned though, the red that's used on the sort of insignias on the top there has almost disappeared. It's gone to a sort of very light yellow colour. The black and grey seem to survive the bleaching process, but that red never does. It always seems to get sort of very washed out. And as you can see, this biker scout here, someone had actually painted his hand or coloured it with a black marker pen. You can see that's actually quite clearly now sort of bleached away, and you can just see the sort of blue that's left. So as you can see, all of these figures have come out pretty nicely, and that's using the cheap hydrogen peroxide at 6%. As I said, that's £1 for a bottle, and you can do you can use it over and over again, so I can probably do another sort of 15 figures like this and they'll all come out just as well. So now it's on to touching up the paint on these, which I've covered in other videos, and I'll show you what the completed figures look like. And here we have the final figures after the paint is touched up, and I've made a replacement cape for the snowtrooper. I'll do a split screen at this point so you can see before and after, showing how they looked before the yellowing and how they look now. If you want to know how to paint and make replacement capes for these figures, then please check out some of my other videos where I show this in greater detail. As you can see though, the de-yellowing process has been a pretty good success on these figures, and these are now ready to add into my Imperial army. So that's de-yellowing on the cheap. Thanks for watching.